Start talking about a shared custody.
Not gonna happen.
She has a father.
You live in a blind spot when it comes to your son. He's a junkie.
And you're a drunk.
Okay, thank you.
Run on home, fill your bathtub with whiskey, and just soak in it. Have yourself an old drunk man's bubble bath.
Got it.
Good. This is a little girl's life we're talking about.
Two families fighting for a little girl they both love deeply. Kevin Costner plays the grandfather, going up against the girl's paternal grandmother, played by Octavia Spencer, in the new movie, Black or White. And Kevin Costner joins us here in St. Louis at the Peabody Opera House to talk about it. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Welcome to balmy St. Louis.
It's warm, huh? It's really warm.
Coldest day of the winter, and here comes Kevin Costner. We thank you for coming in this morning. So before we talk about this movie, I want to ask you, you've had such a great career already, and so many of your movies have gone on to really become classics. I mean, you know, Field of Dreams, Dances with Wolves, Bull Durham. Do you know when you're making a movie that it has the potential to have that lasting impact, or is it always a surprise to you?
No, you know it when you read it, that it has the chance. I don't try to start anything unless it has that chance. Does it get there? You know, there's a lot of reasons why it doesn't get there. But on paper, almost every movie I've ever started, I thought, this has a chance to be a classic in its genre. And I felt the same way about Black or White. I didn't know to expect that when I started reading it, you know, and when I was done reading it, I thought, oh my God, I got to make this movie. This reminded me so much of these kind of movies that you're talking about, albeit different, albeit about where we're at in this country when it comes to race today, or at least a look at it. And I just thought the movie was a miracle if we could get it right.
And I saw the movie last week, and you did get it right. This movie has so much to say, obviously very poignant these days with racial tension so high, starting here in Ferguson, Missouri.
Yeah, well, you know, tensions have been high a lot longer than before August. You know, we've been coming to this, and we have to face it, and we have to get past it. And I know as a country we've been trying, but we're not going fast enough, and we're not going deep enough. But we are where we're at, and I think this movie takes an authentic look at where we're at this moment in time.
One of the things I love about your movie, Kevin, is that they're both families, both Black and the white grandfather, they love this little girl. They both want to be in her life, but both are flawed.
Yeah, well, I tell you, the movie is about a little girl. And what it is it's about the welfare of where she would be the most comfortable. And both people have suspicions, and then suddenly race comes into play. But it's really about the little girl. And these families have an enormous amount of respect for each other, but when they're forced to fight, the issues of race come out.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but they do. And so I think that's what people are really enjoying about it, that it's not politically correct. It's like, it's not afraid to dance around the issue. And out of that comes an enormous amount of humor that people seem to really appreciate as they're watching this.
Yeah, for such a heavy subject, it's a funny movie, Kevin.
Yeah, there are moments that you just really, really laugh, because I think what it is, you see yourself. And there's also moments in the movie where you have always been wanting to say maybe what one of the characters says. You know, I know for Octavia and for Anthony Mackie, they both felt that there were things in this movie that they had been wanting to say themselves for the longest time and didn't have the forum in which to do it, because it's a little politically incorrect. And when they had this movie, they saw a chance to really speak. I had the same experience. I thought, wow, there's some things that I'm going to get to say that I didn't know how to connect those words. But when I read them, I thought, wow, this is a window into how to have this conversation.
What did you want to say with this movie?
Well, I don't try to make message movies. I just knew that the movie was important to me. I knew that it hit this subject head on. It was just a single story. It's not the solve. It doesn't solve our problems, but it's a great stepping off point in which to have the dialogue. And that's what we seem to have such a hard time doing, is actually confronting this in a way where people aren't shouting over the top of each other. You know, it's kind of like maybe our differences are just that. They're differences. They're not about our race. And the movie touches on that a little bit. But race does come up, make no mistake. And it does in a really, what I consider, an authentic way.
Hollywood doesn't make many pictures like this anymore, or maybe they never did, I don't know, but I mean, you obviously were very passionate about this because you put up your money to make this.
Yeah, I mean, me and my partner put up the money to make it because we knew that somehow it was going to fall through the cracks, and I thought it was a I thought it was a very commercial movie, meaning that I think that audiences, I think even young people should see this movie, can see this movie, and actually come away with it feeling a little different. And listen, movies, you know, I think when they're working at their very best, they are about things that you never ever forget. You know, I can think back in my life about movies, a kiss I saw, oh, that's how you do it. You know, a hero.
Which one was that one,
A hero,
Kevin?
well, it was Connery kissing some broad in the 007 movies. You know, he was the king, right? But, you know, you learn about heroism in movies. You learn about, you know, issues, and sometimes, and listen, movies a lot can be about saving the day. There's nothing wrong with being that guy that, you know, keeps the world from, you know, going over the brink. But sometimes a movie can be about the issues of our life, and when they are, and it's done right, sometimes I feel like those are moments you never ever forget.
You're getting I'm going to see you again in a couple of days out in Hollywood for the Critics' Choice Movie Awards. You're getting the Lifetime Achievement Award. What do you make of that, Kevin?
Well, I don't know what to make of that. Are you done? I'm not sure. But I will tell you this: if I never made another movie, I would be really happy if Black or White was the last movie. I'm glad that I made that, and I made it for people. It spoke to me. I've always trusted my instincts about movies, whether it's Dances with Wolves or Field of Dreams, and don't be put off by this title. You know, it's a movie that will take you in and take you for a ride, and will take you to some places that maybe you didn't think you were going. And I think probably at the core, that's the essence of movies anyway.
Speaking of lifetime achievement, if you had to, you know, say this is the one that I think will be my lasting legacy, which one do you think it would be?
Well, I don't know. I think that's that's the thing I feel best about my career. If 10 people come up to me and say something about a movie, it's really possible they'll pick 10 different movies. That doesn't, you know, my career I don't think has spiraled down to a single movie. It's hasn't drilled down to that. It's you know, there's people that will talk to me about, you know, Silverado or Untouchables or No Way Out or, you know, Fandango or, you know, the Field of Dreams or the dances, you know, the Bodyguards. I feel like I've had a real life in the movies, and so to drill down on one, I can't really do it. I love making westerns, you know, and I hope to do that again. But I really love making this movie, and this was a passion. It was a movie that wasn't going to be made, and my hope is that people see it. The thing I do know about it is I think people will be able to watch this 5 and 10 years from now, and I think that's really the measure of a movie. If you're willing to take it off the shelf and share it.
And definitely starts a lot of conversation after you see this movie. You're going to be talking about it with your friends and your family for a long time. The movie's called Black or White, and it's in St. Louis theaters January 30th. Thanks again to Kevin Costner for coming in and talking about it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, back to you guys.
All right.